Welcome to 110% Moments. In this video we will be talking about the moments of our late superstar and the king of pop Michael Jackson, his story, struggle, and success until the very last day of his life. So enjoy watching, and the story goes like this. Michael Joseph Jackson was born on August 29, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. Under his father's encouragement, Jackson's career in music began at the age of 5. Jackson's mother, Katherine Jackson, was a homemaker and a devout Jehovah's Witness. His father, Joseph Jackson, had been a guitarist who put aside his musical aspirations to provide for his family as a crane operator. Behind the scenes, Joseph pushed his sons to succeed. He was also reportedly known to become violent with them. Jackson was one of 10 children, 9 Jackson siblings, including Rebby, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya, Marlon, Randy, and Janet, all made marks in the music industry. Joseph believed his sons had talent and molded them into a musical group in the early 1960s that would later become known as the Jackson 5. At first, the Jackson family performers consisted of Jackson's older brothers, Tito, Jermaine, and Jackie. Jackson joined his siblings when he was 5 years old and emerged as the group's lead vocalist. He showed remarkable range and depth for such a young performer, impressing audiences with his ability to convey complex emotions. Older brother Marlon also became a member of the group, which evolved into the Jackson 5. Jackson and his brothers spent endless hours rehearsing and polishing their act. At first, the Jackson 5 played local gigs and built a strong following. They recorded one single on their own, Big Boy, with the B-side You've Changed, but the record failed to generate much interest. The Jackson 5 moved on to working as the opening act for such R&B artists as Gladys Knight and the Pips, James Brown, and Sam and Dave. Many of these performers were signed to the legendary Motown record label, and the Jackson 5 eventually caught the attention of Motown founder Berry Gordy. Impressed by the group, Gordy signed them to his label in early 1969. Jackson and his brothers moved to Los Angeles, where they lived with Gordy and with Diana Ross of the Supremes as they got settled. The Jackson 5 was introduced to the music industry at a special event in August 1969, and the group later opened for the Supremes. For several years, Jackson and the Jackson 5 maintained a busy tour and recording schedule under the supervision of Gordy and his Motown staff. The group became so popular that they even had their own self-titled cartoon show, which ran from 1971 to 1972. At the same time, Jackson launched his solo career. Despite the group's great success, there was trouble brewing behind the scenes. Tensions mounted between Gordy and Joseph over the management of his children's careers, with the Jacksons wanting more creative control over their material. The group officially severed ties with Motown in 1976, though Jermaine remained with the label to pursue his solo career. At the age of 13, Jackson launched a solo career in addition to his work with the Jackson 5, making the charts in 1971 with Got to Be There from the album of the same name. Ben, 1972. Jackson's 1972 album, Ben, featured the eponymous ballad about a rat. The song became Jackson's first solo #1 single. Music and Me, 1973. Jackson's third solo album, Music and Me, was his least successful. Forever, Michael, 1975. This fourth solo album for Jackson was his last with Motown Records. Thriller, 1982. Released in 1982, Jackson's sixth solo album Thriller is the best-selling album in history, generating 7 top 10 hits. The album stayed on the charts for 80 weeks, holding the #1 spot for 37 weeks. In addition to its unparalleled commercial achievements, Thriller garnered 12 Grammy Award nominations and notched 8 wins. Both records. Jackson's victories showcase the diverse nature of his work. For his songwriting talents, he earned a Grammy Best Rhythm and Blues Song for Billie Jean. He also was honored for the singles Thriller Best Pop Vocal Performance Male and Beat It Best Rock Vocal Performance Male. With co-producer Quincy Jones, Jackson shared the award for Album of the Year. Paul McCartney also teamed up with Jackson for a 1982 duet, The Girl Is Mine, which nearly reached the top of the pop charts. Jackson filmed an elaborate music video was for the album's title track. John Landis directed the horror-tinged video, which featured complex dance scenes, special effects, and a voiceover by actor Vincent Price. The Thriller video was an immense success, boosting sales for the already successful record. We Are the World single, 1985. In 1985, Jackson showed his altruistic side by co-writing We Are the World, a charity single for USA for Africa. A veritable who's who of music stars participated in the project, including Lionel Richie, Ray Charles, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Bruce Springsteen, and Tina Turner. Bad, 1987. Jackson's album Bad, 1987, released as a follow-up to Thriller, reached the top of the charts with a record 5 #1 hits, including Man in the Mirror, The Way You Make Me Feel, and the title track, which was supported by a video directed by Martin Scorsese. Jackson spent more than a year on the road, playing concerts to promote the album. While highly successful, Bad was unable to duplicate the phenomenal sales of Thriller. Dangerous, 1991. In 1991, Jackson released Dangerous, featuring the hit Black or White. The video for this song, directed by Landis, included an appearance by child star Macaulay Culkin. In the video's final minutes, Jackson caused some controversy with his sexual gesturing and violent actions. Many were surprised to see the Peter Pan-like Jackson act in this manner. In August 1994, Jackson announced that he had married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of rock icon Elvis Presley. The couple gave a joint television interview with Diane Sawyer, but the union proved to be short-lived. They divorced in 1996. Some thought that the marriage was a publicity ploy to restore Jackson's image after child molestation allegations. Later that same year, Jackson wed nurse Debbie Rowe. The couple divorced in 1999. Jackson and Rowe had 2 children through artificial insemination: son Michael Joseph Prince Jackson Jr., born in 1997, and daughter Paris Michael Catherine Jackson, born in 1998. When Rowe and Jackson divorced, Michael received full custody of their 2 children. Jackson would go on to have a 3rd child, Prince Michael Blanket Jackson II, with an unknown surrogate. After Jackson's death in June 2009, his children were placed in the care of their grandmother, Catherine, as dictated in his will. In respect to their father's wishes, Prince, Paris, and Blanket were largely kept out of the limelight. They stepped up to the mic in 2009 to speak to fans at their father's funeral, and again in January 2010 to accept a posthumous Lifetime Achievement Award for their father at the Grammys. In July 2012, a judge temporarily suspended Catherine Jackson's guardianship of Prince, Paris, and Blanket after she was erroneously reported missing by a relative. During this time, TJ Jackson, son of Tito, received temporary custody of the children. Catherine's disappearance came shortly after a dispute between her and several members of the Jackson clan, who raised questions about the validity of Jackson's will, pointed fingers at the Jackson matriarch, and called for the executors of his estate to resign. It was soon discovered that the elderly woman wasn't missing, but had simply taken a trip to Arizona. On August 2, 2012, a judge restored Catherine Jackson as the primary guardian of Prince, Paris, and Blanket, also approving a plan granting TJ Jackson co-guardianship of the children. Jackson died on June 25, 2009, at the age of 50 after suffering a cardiac arrest in his Los Angeles home. CPR attempts failed and he was rushed to the hospital, where he died later that morning. In February 2010, an official coroner's report revealed Jackson's cause of death was acute propofol intoxication, or a lethal overdose on a prescription drug cocktail including the sedatives midazolam, diazepam, and lidocaine. Aided by his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, Jackson had been taking sedative drugs to help him sleep at night. Murray told police that he believed Jackson had developed a particular addiction to propofol, which Jackson referred to as his milk. Murray reportedly administered propofol by 4 in the evenings in 50 milligram dosages and was attempting to wean the pop star off the drug around the time of his death. A police investigation revealed that Murray was not licensed to prescribe most controlled drugs in the state of California. The steps he had taken to save Jackson also came under scrutiny, as evidence showed that the standard of care for administering propofol had not been met, and the recommended equipment for patient monitoring, precision dosing, and resuscitation had not been present. As a result, Jackson's death was ruled a homicide. Murray was convicted of involuntary manslaughter on November 7, 2011, earning a maximum prison sentence of 4 years. Funeral and memorial. On July 7, 2009, a televised memorial was held for fans of the King of Pop at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. While 17,500 free tickets were issued to fans via lottery, an estimated 1 billion viewers watched the memorial on TV or online. Jackson's death resulted in an outpouring of public grief and sympathy. Memorials were erected around the world, including one at the arena where he was set to perform and another at his childhood home in Gary, Indiana. The Jackson family held a private funeral on September 3, 2009, at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, for immediate family members and 200 guests. Celebrity mourners included Jackson's ex-wife Presley and actress Elizabeth Taylor. I hope you enjoy this video. Please leave your comment and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell for more updates. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.